The 10 brazen lavers were bronze lavers used in the Temple of Solomon, in addition to the larger molten sea, according to the Book of Kings. All this passage explains about the lavers themselves is their size, and that they were made from bronze. The medieval Masoretic text claims that they were 4 cubits in diameter, and that they had a cubic capacity of 40 baths. But the earlier writer, Flavius Josephus, claims that 4 cubits was the size of the radius, making the capacity even larger. Even with the Masoretic text's measurements, these lavers would be so large that if one was to be filled with water, the water alone would weigh 14 long tons. The bases. Much greater detail is elaborated for the description of the supporting bases for the lavers. In the Masoretic text, these are claimed to be 4 cubits long, 4 cubits wide, and 3 cubits high, but the older Septuagint and Josephus both claim instead give the size as 5 cubits long, 5 cubits wide, and 6 cubits high. These bases are described as being made from 2 components in the Masoretic text. These are described by the Hebrew terms misgaroth and shelabim. The Septuagint uses the Greek terms sikliston and hexakomena to describe them. The meaning of these words is unfortunately somewhat uncertain, although it is suspected that the shelabim, hexakomena were the main part, onto which the misgaroth, sikliston were affixed. The Bible describes the misgaroth, sikliston as being decorated by lions, oxen, and cherubim. Each base is described as resting on a solid brass wheels, each 1.5 cubits in diameter. The axles for these wheels are described as being held to the base by hands, which were extensions of the base itself. According to a later passage from the books of Kings, King Ahaz dismantled these bases and removed the misgaroth, sigaliston. It doesn't mention whether he did anything to the lavers themselves, but if they remained they would presumably have been situated significantly lower than they were before. However, an even later passage states that Nebuchadrezzar's army dismantled the bases. State of text. As with most accounts in the Book of Kings, this description appears to be comprised from 2 spliced together parallel sources. One describing the wheels in detail, the other not. Purpose. The 10 lavers are described by the Bible as being placed around the temple building itself, 5 on the north side and the other 5 on the south. They were used for washing the hands and feet of the priests before doing ritual service. Josephus says that these lavers were for cleansing the entrails of the sacrificed animals, and the feet. Parallels in other nearby cultures in the late 19th century. Bronze chariots were discovered in Cyprus, which had a remarkable similarity to the biblical description of the bases of the lavers. This has provided some clarification of the nature of misgaroth, sigaliston, and shelabim, hexakomena, as well as explaining the design of the mouths of the lavers themselves.